Welcome to this week's episode of The Better Half. I'm Kyndra de St. Aubin, and this is Katy Hartley, and we're going to take a look back at what's been going on this week.
The Cardinals taking on the Steelers this weekend, coming off their bye. The Pittsburgh Steelers 4-2 come into Arizona to take on the 1-4 Cardinals. Lots to talk about in this game. Kyndra?
I'm a little bit nervous about the whole mood because they had the bye, they had that week off, and some of the players seem kind of fired up about it. Like, hey, we've got this extra little spark. It was good to get some time off physically. They were all mentally kind of studying. But Coach Wisenhunt seems really cautiously optimistic, and I use that term because every time we ask him, hey, was it nice to have a week off? Was it nice to have a break? Well, we'll see about Sunday. We'll see about Sunday. He's not in a really great mood every day, and I really think he's cautiously optimistic going into this Pittsburgh Steelers game.
And my biggest concern is the injuries. We have Todd Heap and Kerry Rhodes injured this week. Hopefully they had some time to get healthy. But also on the other side, the Pittsburgh Steelers are missing James Harrison, Mike Wallace, and Hines Ward. So it'll be interesting to see what those matchups look like on Sunday. I'm excited to see Larry Fitzgerald take on Ike Taylor.
I like to see Larry Fitzgerald take on just about anybody, but if they can't throw him the ball, if they can't target him because they don't have enough other options, so he's not always being double teamed, I think it's going to be an issue. I think Todd Heap is looking pretty good. It's going to be kind of a wait and see thing. Kerry Rhodes, I mean, he's definitely not going to. I don't think he's going to be back this week. So it's going to be. But Palomalu is also possibly back with the whole concussion thing. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. I think the Cards do maybe have a chance because they're at home. They're coming off 4 straight losses, and they're not supposed to win this game, and sometimes those are the ones that teams can end up winning.
And football, not the only thing that's going on right now. Some baseball news, of course, the World Series, the Texas Rangers taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. What are your predictions, Kyndra?
I like the Rangers in 7. I think it's going to go 7 only because these two teams have kind of been, you know, they were both not necessarily supposed to be here in this situation, and they both kind of fought through some issues, especially with the starting pitching. I think both of them kind of struggled in the respective championship series of the starting pitching. So I like the Rangers. I think it's going to go 7. I think their offense is definitely above the Cardinals, and that's, I mean, we know we have our Albert Pujols on St. Louis, but aside from that, I think the Rangers top to bottom. The Cardinals have 3 right-handed starting pitchers, and the Rangers have scored the most runs as any team in the majors this year against right-handed pitching.
I think we're going to see some great baseball games in the next few days. As far as pitching goes, I love the way the Rangers are looking. Derek Holland and C.J. Wilson, if they pitch lights out, I do agree with you. I think it's going to go at least to 6 games, maybe 7, and it'll be good to see how these teams play defense. Actually, neither of these teams particularly played well defensively this year, so that'll be good to see as well.
Well, and I think, you know what, most people, I mean, I know you're a Rangers fan, but I'm not technically like a Rangers or a Cardinals fan, so I just like to see a good series. I mean, honestly, with all the divisional series and the championship series, that's how I felt about it with all the games. Once the Diamondbacks were out, you know, I really just like to see good games. I don't like to see blowouts. The way both those championship series ended was kind of boring, actually. So that was unfortunate.
And back to some football news. Carson Palmer being traded to the Oakland Raiders this week. Kind of an interesting storyline with Mike Brown being very adamant that he was not going to trade the quarterback. And, of course, he ends up in Oakland the Raiders gave up a first-round pick and a conditional second-round pick. So to bring this back locally, how do you feel that this justifies the trade with Kevin Kolb?
Well, I personally don't know that necessarily now one has anything to do with the other. I know they paid Kevin Kolb a lot of money. They got rid of some really great players in DRC and a pick. But I think now we can look back and retrospectively say, hey, we know, compare the two and how do you feel about it, because Carson Palmer was kind of thrown in that mix. But I think Kevin Kolb is who the Cardinals needed right now. It doesn't look good, but I think at the time he was the best choice available, because I really don't think Carson Palmer was actually technically available at that time. The circumstances and the Bengals actually looking good now made Mike Brown kind of change his mind.
Right, and my argument would be Carson Palmer technically wasn't available last week either. However, Oakland did manage to pick him up. I still like Kevin Kolb. I still think he's the best fit for the Cardinals. He's 27. Carson Palmer will be 32 by the end of the season. So he's definitely getting up there in age. Though he might have better skills than Kevin Kolb, I still think that Kolb has a lot of room left to improve. And the last story today is Will Smith, rapper turned actor, I guess you could say, investing in the Philadelphia.
Don't forget Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to throw her in there, too.
Yep,
She's part of the fun.
Absolutely. And that couple investing in the Philadelphia 76ers. Kyndra, do you think that it's good or bad to have celebrity investors in sports teams?
To me, it's just another person with a lot of money that's investing in a team. I mean, of course, they bring some publicity to it, which is always nice, but it's not like an NBA team really needs publicity. So to me, just another rich person spending their money.
And I give it a thumbs up. I like to see Will Smith involved in the 76ers. Hopefully it will help them win some more games. But what a great name to name drop in interviews. And I mean, look at Jay-Z. He's like the coolest thing to happen to the Nets. So.
And it's kind of a hometown thing. So I like that he's kind of going back to his roots. He's not like investing in the Lakers or something, you know, something Hollywoodish. So.
Well, that's it for us today. Until next week, follow her on Twitter at Kyndra620. And you can follow me at FunKatie620. We'll be back next week for another webisode of The Better Half.